Alright, poor quality video. You're good. Recording. Poor quality video made by somebody who doesn't care. Congratulations, not doing this for clicks, not doing this to be famous. So, haters, if you have nothing substantive to say and try to critique the quality of this video, I'm going to have to remind you what I just said. I'm not doing this for clicks or professionalism. I'm not doing this because I want to be famous or anything like that. I'm doing this because I don't want to keep on typing and fucking paragraph all the time. Anyways, just watched a video with the disclaimer aside. Just watched a video of MSNBC. They hosted some fake leftist or fake individual spreading fake news about Bernie supporters or Warren supporters. They weren't really specific. They basically said that I heard somebody tell me that people are saying that if you don't support Hillary, or if you don't support Warren, then you're a sexist. If you vote for Bernie over Warren, you're a sexist. That's not what anyone is saying. Nobody on the left is saying that. Right wingers will impose that. I do suggest everybody, shout out to one of the guys, Sean's channel, uh, Cuphead, Cuphead, Doom, fake outrage videos. Sean goes into big details on how the social justice warriors are controlling game makers by essentially saying that artists aren't allowed to make jokes about politics. There's also a video in there about Mortal Kombat and how right wingers were saying that SJWs are pushing their social justice warrior shit on artists, preventing them from putting in these hyper-sexualized outfits and making them wear something like the jihad. And it's ridiculous, obviously, absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anybody who's played Mortal Kombat, they're basically acting like virgins that's never seen a woman outside porn, okay? And they want their porn, okay? They're upset. They're upset that artists actually put a decent, appropriate combat style outfit on women in Mortal Kombat. So they want their porn. They want to see the jiggly stuff. They want to see that dead or alive stuff. Okay, but I digress. Nobody is saying that people who support Warren over Bernie, or that don't support Warren over Bernie, is sexist. Nobody on the left is saying that. People on the right are saying that they're saying that, which is run the mill. Watch Sean, you'll get the picture. Also watch Bosch. He's great. But I do suggest you know, it's the same thing like the 2016 election, where they were saying that Hillary has no policy, she's just running on her femininity, and how Trump supporters were saying that Bernie's a socialist and therefore he's a Nazi, brown shirt guy. And they were saying like, oh, if you vote for Hillary, you're getting more of Obama. But one of the big things that stood out was that mm, a lot of Trump supporters were basically saying that if Hillary's going to take us to war in her first period, or women can't physically lead because that's a man's job. If you watch Comedy Central and you go back to the 2016 election, they did a whole thing, and ironically, they weren't bits. They weren't like the comedian making fun of these people. They were just interviewing people at these rallies, and there was also things like Alex Jones supporters that the comedian would go around carrying duplicated photos and ask them to pick which one was a body double, because Alex Jones was saying that Hillary had a body double and that she secretly had a illness that she was hiding from people. There was also things like from the Inquirer where they were saying that she was fleeing the nation. There's a lot of bullshit. Can we learn from this, please? Can we please learn from 2016 election, please? Now, again, this is a low quality video. I don't have time to go through the fucking hard drives and the history data and put all this stuff together and show you with the stuff. I'm sure Sean will do it. I'm pretty sure Vosh, not Vosh. Vosh does the same thing I'm doing now. It's just basically unscripted shit, and just don't make that fucking mistake again. I, don't like, if you hear somebody saying like, oh, I heard somebody say, that's a red flag. That red flag says, Trump waving, Trump cocksucker here kind of thing. Don't don't buy that shit. Don't listen to the bootlickers. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to separate us like they did in the 2016 election. They were saying that, oh, Hillary stole the election from Bernie, even though Bernie was a late entry, very late entry, that nobody had any recollection about. Nobody knew who Bernie was. He's developed a name over time, and I have to say, him and Hillary, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of the 2016 election so much. There's just so many parallels. But, I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Oh, 2016 election. When they accused Hillary of stealing the election, cheating Bernie out of a win just because she won California. I have to say, one, stop shitting on California. They subsidize over 5 states in America. Their economy supports the U.S. more than any red state. Okay, I have to say, the whole bullshit narrative that somehow some states are supporting California is laughable and disproven 6 ways to Sunday. I mean, I've heard people talk about California like they have the most crime, but if you look on the list of where the most unsafe, crime-ridden places are, it's not California. Okay, California isn't even in the top 20, last I checked. And like the most unsafe places would be like Illinois or Florida or fucking hell, I can't remember them off the top of my head. There's a list. I don't want to take time to Google it, but I did Google it earlier, like a while ago, during the election. But anyways, Bernie was a nobody back then, and then Trump was like, oh, she stole the election from him, and then people on Trump's side or Bernie's side, they were like, oh, we have to vote for Trump because Hillary is a criminal that can't win anything without cheating. Ironically, because Trump soliciting and trying to buy aid from other countries to cheat in the election and currently trying to cheat in the upcoming election for spreading this fake news about Biden. Even though Biden is slipping a lot, I honestly don't like him. Mainly because I think he's riding on Obama's fame too much. And I do believe that Obama picked Biden because it supported the whole white vote thing, and there's a lot of fucking racists in the U.S. Even now, surprisingly, I recently had a discussion with some guy talking about birth rates and immigrants. That's always fun. Nazis! Yeah! Quick hint to anybody who debates Nazis: if they bring up how immigrants come to the U.S. to take advantage of our system for a measly $400 a month, remind them that you cannot raise a kid on $400 a month. On top of that, it costs more than $400 a month to pay rent on a condo or a studio apartment. Okay, it costs more than $400 a month for even the cheapest land. Okay, and on top of that, like you really these people are not living high in the hog. Okay, if you want to talk about corruption, let's talk about the Trump annulments thing. Okay, that's real corruption there. Let's talk about Trump violating the laws of election and then not getting held accountable for it. Let's talk about the 10 obstruction of justice findings of the Mueller report. Those are legitimate concerns. Talking about how some nobody who's poor and broke, and mind you, and I have to remind people, when you get support from the government, they do check. They do check your bank accounts. And you fuckers keep saying that, oh, these people are gonna get, like they find ways to cheat the system and all that shit. Well, I have to remind you, they do check the banks. They check the pay. They check uh, history on people's debit cards and stuff. Okay, and cheating the system is not something some poor ass immigrant can do coming from walking to the U.S. Okay, no. If you want to talk about somebody stealing money from your pocket or taxpayer dollars, let's talk about how rich people hoard their cash while poor people end up barely making it. Okay, that's where the real issue is. Okay, these people are rich for a reason. Okay, taking advantage of people is pretty much their MO. You can't get rich without taking advantage of somebody. So that's my point. Okay. And with Bernie, he's got a great record with healthcare, I have to say. And he's got a great record of being outspoken. He's very politically well known, and he's made a great public portfolio of his work. Warren has also. She's primarily done anti-corruption cases and been dealing with like big pharma and people, CEOs trying to scapegoat their coworkers, and people trying to defraud the government. So, yeah, Warren is great with. She's got her own strengths. I was listening to this bitch talk about like how Warren has developed her stuff over time and Bernie hasn't. Bernie may not have support of evolved his ideology, but he's got a pretty damn solid ideology or portfolio. So it's not so much like whether or not it's grown; it's more about whether or not it needs to grow, or whether or not like there's stuff to add to it or change. That's more for people in Senate and stuff when they vote and make amendments and stuff like that. Basically, chain of command and processing. But these people really have no leg to stand on. None. I mean, fuck's sake, you guys voted for Trump because you thought that Hillary was going to take us to war because of a period. You guys voted for a guy who was like, I grab him by the pussy, and you called him religious. A guy who lied, cheated on his wives, and defrauds the government left and right. And your excuse for his fraud, mind you, was that, hey, the law allowed him to. I have to say, the law didn't allow him to. He was sued multiple times. Okay, the only people who allow him to get away with shit is you guys, which is proven out in the election. Okay, you guys don't care whether or not this guy does anything. You want alpha shit, and this guy's about as, I would say he's a beta male because he's bitching like a whiny child all the time, and constantly lying like a whiny child all the time. But he's not even a beta, okay? Beta is too much for this guy. Delta is too much for this guy. No. This guy, Trump, goes all the way down. Okay, he's down like Omega. Okay, this guy is an Omega. Okay, I had a guy call him like a fucking what's that guy from damn it, I forget his name. He's a black guy who's on a talk radio show. He's kind of dim. Um, he talks like Destiny, and he says like like why did you decide to be half woman, half guy? And it's like what? It's like he starts trying to make this narrative that only guys can be right. Wow, 15 minutes in, damn. And it's basically this guy is trying to impose. Like if you guys go to Destiny's channel and there's a thing there, it's fairly recent. You can look at the entire thing there. But basically these people are trying to say that conservatives are alpha and liberals are beta. But at the same time, I'm looking at that and I'm like, we hold our people to account and have more in our market of ideas than the conservatives. The conservatives are so close-minded that if you even dare to disagree with Trump, you will be hung and dragged from your truck, or from a truck. Okay, if you so much as push. Like let's take a look at these spineless, weak failures of the Republican Party. If anybody did what they're doing to Congress or to the Senate, whatever it is, they'd be held in contempt of Congress or Senate or court, in contempt for refusing to answer questions, withholding information, and filibustering as much as they can, wasting people's time. That would be, grounds for a contempt of court. But these guys are, because they're white and they're Trump and they're Trump people and they're Republicans, they get special treatment. It's like listening to PragerU talk about how conservatives deserve special treatment because liberals get too much attention, even though, as I've said, liberals have a lot more in the market of ideas than conservatives do, and you can go on ahead and look at that if you want to. Look at the PragerU videos, look at the disinformation campaigns. It's mostly just them lying and mostly just them, playing victim and saying like, oh, I deserve the gold star too, even though they denounce things like history, math, science. They basically say education in general is too liberal and you shouldn't go to school because school teaches you liberal sciences. And it's like these people are so fucking brain dead that their rebuttal is, oh, America's a republic. It's like, and you can have Democrats in control and still have a republic. That doesn't change anything. And but I get the dichotomy they're pushing. They're basically trying to utilize small, weak minds and trying to convince them that only Republicans have a right to be the majority. And I was listening, and like just a thing, because I'm coming up in 18 minutes, is these people, they were putting a petition to require a vote of the majority, mind you, the majority, and on every tax bill every year. And they love the whole, repeal two laws for every one approved, which is basically them saying, we want a net negative of laws every year, which is basically the same as them saying, they don't want law and order. And I told some conservative about that, and they're like, people protest laws they don't like all the time. It's like these people weren't protesting a law or a tax bill of any kind. They're just saying, we want to span the court with with uh with votes so that we can get rid of things, all of them, not just like you know any specific bill, just broad spectrum. And also, they're very anti-American because America wouldn't exist without taxpayer dollars. And they bitch about how like liberals want America to pay for everything. It's like, no, we just want to help people who can't support themselves, so they can eventually get on their own feet. And I had to keep telling these people all the time, these poor people cannot support themselves. They literally cannot support themselves. The government checks their banks and checks their income, and checks their paychecks, everything. They cannot survive on their own. People talk about like kids, and I went over that earlier, but still. 20 minutes in, wrapping this up, okay? Shout out to Vosh, shout out to Destiny, shout out to Sean and Three Arrows, and I feel like I'm missing one. Anyways, peace!